Welcome to the city of Guadalajara, if you can get in, of course. It is impossible for a city like Guadalajara, Jalisco, to stop losing competitiveness if it doesn't seriously address its intra-urban mobility problems and the difficulties of crossing the city or accessing it from any direction. Jalisco's elites refuse to understand that, in a scenario of global uncertainty, mobility problems represent an aggregate loss of social well-being and business opportunities. In the case of Guadalajara, in these days of construction work for the World Cup and endless road expansions, the loss of competitiveness has become a tangible problem for experts and the general public. The problem is so serious that, to put it mildly, if you live in Ciudad Guzman or near Colima and want to fly to Denver, Colorado, or any other destination in the United States, it's much more comfortable, practical, and even cheaper to take a Volaris flight from Colima to Tijuana, walk across the CBX bridge to San Diego, take a taxi to that city's airport, and then fly to any city in the United States. As became clear on Tuesday, October 14th and Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, and again on the 27th and 28th of the same month, the alternative of traveling to Guadalajara and taking a direct flight to a North American city could become a real nightmare that, for some people, is almost a threat to their lives and health. On both dates, farmers fighting for a better price for corn blocked access to the city. It's true that the peasant blockade is an event unrelated to the mobility decisions that have been made in the recent and distant past, but it's not so much when you consider that the city's vulnerability is so great that anyone can easily identify where to squeeze the veins to cause the suffocation experienced. And if there's an accident there, which there always is, things become impossible. The structural fact is that entering and moving around the city has become a nightmare for all modes of transportation. And then, when you look at the solutions, wow, there's simply no serious urban planning. Therefore, it's horrible to take a flight that takes an hour or an hour and a half to get to the city, and then have to wait 2 hours for a taxi or leave the airport on a foreign bus to go to the bus station, and then figure out how to get to your final destination. All of this is, taken together, an experience that should be weighed before coming to or leaving Guadalajara. Truly, entering or leaving the Guadalajara metropolitan area is a daily odyssey for thousands of people, so intense that it deserves its own reality show. The projects undertaken to alleviate these problems often make them worse. They take much longer than scheduled. Sections of streets or highways are closed unnecessarily even for minor works, and so-called root cause solutions fall far short of their objectives and take so long to build that, when they are finally completed, they don't even seem to mitigate the problem they exacerbated during construction. Anyone entering or leaving the city, regardless of where they're headed or where they're coming from, invariably ask themselves, how can such a large city exist with such precarious access and mobility solutions? From the scientific field and the specialty of conflict analysis and negotiation processes, or from experience in the field of land use and housing policies, it is very clear that any answer to this question depends on understanding the complicated constellation of actors that inhabit the cosmos of the mobility business. In this world, each form of mobility has become a commodity and a niche for direct or indirect business. For government officials or other aspiring politicians, the mobility problem is a space for the politics of foolishness and ignorance, in which giving up a little or achieving something of common interest is a commodity that, despite everything, can be exchanged for other benefits. There are too many players holding back the cow's leg, which is being slowly killed by the key players who make mobility decisions in Guadalajara. This world includes federal, state, and municipal officials, transportation leaders, landowners in the urban periphery, taxi unions, self-proclaimed experts in non-motorized mobility solutions, construction chambers, and the various responsible officials in the state Congress, the state government, and the municipalities. This includes not only those in the mobility sector, but also those in the field of land use and housing policies. There's no room here to explore the scenarios that lie ahead, but those who think that small mobility projects like those leading up to the World Cup or small actions at intersections and highway access points to the city will solve the problem will sooner rather than later be surprised to find that the problem is getting worse. The experience of recent years confirms this. And in the political and economic climate at the end of 2025, there are no clear indicators that things will change in a truly structural way in the coming years. Now, those who live in the best neighborhoods of the Guadalajara metropolitan area can take comfort in the fact that, over there, not even far from the city, the roads and regional transportation systems in Jalisco are undoubtedly much worse.